to begin by asking you to tell us a little bit about what you think happened in the midterms, because I know people have sort of been debating this the last month, what happened, what we can do better next time. And I think that we need to talk about it because that way we can have a better game plan moving forward into 2024 and future elections so that we aren't blindsided again.
I think that a lot of things happen. I don't think there's any singular one lesson to be learned. I think there's multiple lessons. So let's start with the fact of turnout. The media has created this narrative. First of all, there was a quote unquote youthquake that millions of young people angry about abortion came out and voted in masses to elect Democrats. The data so far shows that didn't happen at all. Didn't happen whatsoever. Republican turnout was actually extremely good in this election, and minority turnout, especially among Democrats, was extremely poor. That's why you're looking at Republicans probably getting over 40% of the Asian vote, somewhere in the high 30s of the Hispanic vote, and the Black vote remains basically stagnant at about 10%. Where Republicans faltered was among white college-educated voters, especially independent voters. They were really disenfranchised with the Republican Party, even though they agree with them on issues like crime and immigration, and they don't approve of Joe Biden's performance in the White House. They were very upset over two big issues, one being abortion and the idea of a national abortion ban. And I think that, and on top of that, you had major Republican both candidates and senators like Rick Scott and candidates like Blake Masters talking about the idea of privatizing Social Security. Really, really irritated a lot of independent voters.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit about the demographics question, because you mentioned that we actually did have turnout. We actually did, pick up some Hispanic voters. We had pretty good turnout in terms of Black voters, but we don't have those white college educated voters like we used to. Is that a trade-off that I guess can work? Or do you feel like those voters are not located in the right swing districts? Because in some locations, it just seemed like it was about where they were located. We just unfortunately didn't pull through in some areas in certain states. And so do you think it's about where they were placed, or how would you kind of explain that?
So Republicans used to, on average, get around 25 to 30% of the Hispanic vote and about the same percentage of the Asian vote. And now we're looking at about between 35 and 40% of both votes. So we've gained significantly. But remember, Latinos are only still 13 to 14% of the national vote. Asians are about 2 to 3%. White college-educated voters are about 25 to 30% on a given election. So no, the trade-off is not there. And also Latinos and Asians are very concentrated in major blue places. You're looking at New York, you're looking at Florida, which is a red state, but Florida, Texas, Colorado, and California. Many of those states are not competitive elections. If you look at why Democrats have kept certain states within a swing area, it's because the Black vote, which is votes 90% Democrat, are concentrated in very important states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina. So the trade-off is not good. And I think that the college-educated white vote leaving at such a high rate is really detrimental to the Republican Party overall. You would have to make, the Republican Party worked very hard to become the party of the working class, which is good, but working class voters have very poor voting attendance rates, especially compared to college educated voters. And you can't so heavily concentrate on one and leave the others kind of to their own devices and just hope that they still show up for you after you've kind of abandoned them in some ways. So I think that that's why you're seeing some districts that were swing districts really go Democrat in a surprising manner, in Ohio and in North Carolina and in Washington. I think that hurt. But look, in two of the bluest states, in New York and California, Republicans did really well. Why? Because in New York, the conversation was crime. And hopefully other states will pick up on that idea.
Yeah.